My name is Aryeh Citron, and we're learning page Pei Aleph of Parshas by Midbar. This is a short summary of the first mimer, the beginning of the first mimer of Parshas Matos. The Parsha starts about making vows, and it says, Ish ki yidor neder, a person will make a vow. The Gemara says that means that you have to use an item which you can make forbidden, like a korban, and then make a vow to apply that prohibition to something else, so that that other item also becomes forbidden in a similar way to the korban. Why is it that this is the manner in which we make a vow? Also, why is this section addressed specifically to the Roshei HaMatos, to the heads of the tribes? Also, we have to understand that it says in the Gemara that first we have nadar and vows, then precious, separation, then holiness, then humility, and then fear of sin. In other sources, we see that fear of sin comes even before chachma, which is wisdom. So here, why is it that it comes after all of these concepts? So in order to understand this, Rabbi explains what is the concept of Kedusha. Kedusha is something removed, a level of Hashem that is completely beyond this world. And this is something that we accomplish through doing mitzvahs. When we do mitzvahs, we connect to the level of Hashem that is completely beyond this world. In order to understand this, Rabbi brings the idea of l'chu lachmu belachmi, that the pasuk says you should eat my bread. You should break bread with my bread. Meaning to say, we should learn Torah, which is like our spiritual bread, but it's also called Hashem's spiritual bread. What does it mean that the Torah is our spiritual bread? And what does it mean that it's Hashem's spiritual bread? So the whole idea of eating, Rabbi explains, is that we have a lower spiritual source than the food that we eat. Even though we're higher in a revealed way, but in source, the food has a higher spiritual source. That's why it nourishes us, because we tap in to its spiritual source when we eat. Now, just like this is true when we eat physical food, the same is true when we learn Torah. When we learn Torah, we connect with a level of Hashem that is even higher than our neshamas. Just like the food that we eat comes from Moitza Pi Hashem, from the source of Hashem's utterances, which is the level of Soivu Kol Alma, the level that is beyond the world. So too, the Torah and the mitzvahs come from a level of Hashem that is Soivu Kol Alma, that is completely beyond the world. And therefore, when we learn them, we connect to that level. And we bring that level into this world, which is why it's so important to do physical mitzvahs, because it's through the mitzvahs, through those physical parts of this world, the esrog, the lulav, and the wool for the tzitzis, and so on, that we bring this revelation into this world, because those physical objects have their source in the level of Hashem that's beyond the world, and therefore they are the vehicle to express this same revelation into the world. Torah study has to be done by moving our lips, not just thinking it, because when we move our lips, we're using the energy that we have in us that comes from the food that we ate. So we're still connecting the Torah with this aspect of the world that is coming from beyond the world, like we described, which is connected to Soivu Kol Alma. So this is why the Torah is considered our bread, because it gives us spiritual sustenance. It creates this connection between Hashem that's beyond the world and the world. It's also called Hashem's bread, because it brings the level of Hashem that is Soivu Kol Alma, that is beyond the world, into the level of Hashem that is normally revealed in the world, which is compared to a man, because it mirrors the same sort of limbs that man has. So the level of Hashem that's within this world has similar components. But when we learn Torah, we connect the level of Hashem that's beyond the world into the level that's in the world. And in so doing, it's like we are sustaining Hashem. Now, just like we're sustaining the revelation in the world spiritually, we're also sustaining our souls spiritually. And that is because by fulfilling the Torah and the mitzvahs, we bring the Ratzon Elyon, the supernal level of will, into ourselves. When we think about the greatness of Hashem and we come to love Him, that's a limited love. That's called Avas Olam. But when we achieve a love to Hashem through the fulfillment of Torah and mitzvahs, we are able to achieve a level of love and desire that comes from the level of Hashem that's completely beyond the world, beyond our comprehension, beyond any comprehension, from the very depths of our hearts. And this is the concept of Asher Kiddushanu Mitzvahs. Hashem sanctifies us with his mitzvahs. Through the mitzvahs, we can be holy, meaning to say we can connect to this level of holiness that is completely beyond the world. That is a short synopsis of the two first oisiyos of the first mimer on Matos.